The first time Mara saw Elia, she thought the stories were exaggerated. They always were. Growing up in the outer settlements, Mara had heard whispers about the otherborn, children who didn't look quite human, who arrived quietly during the early years of the resettlement program. People said they had eyes that reflected too much light, skin that shifted in tone, bones that bent the wrong way. Most dismissed the rumors as fear-driven nonsense, the kind that followed any major planetary migration. Mara believed that, right up until the day Elias stepped into the doorway of their home. She was small, no more than 7 years old, standing beside Mara's mother with her hands folded neatly in front of her. Her skin held a faint iridescence, like oil shimmering on water, and her eyes, large and luminous, seemed to absorb the room rather than reflect it. Thin, branching lines traced faintly along her temples, glowing softly before fading. Mara stared. Her mother cleared her throat. "Mara," she said gently, "this is Elia." Elia tilted her head, studying Mara with unsettling intensity. "Hello," she said, her voice soft but precise, as if she'd practiced the word many times. Mara didn't respond. This was not what family was supposed to look like. Years earlier, humanity had fled Earth as it collapsed under environmental failure and resource wars. The new colonies, scattered across barely habitable worlds, survived only through cooperation with technologies humanity barely understood. Somewhere along the way, they discovered they weren't alone. The others had been here first. No one talked openly about the treaty, only that humanity was allowed to settle if certain conditions were met. One of those conditions, though rarely acknowledged, was integration. Elia was part of that agreement. "She'll be staying with us," Mara's mother said, as if announcing a new pet. "She's your sister now." That night, Mara locked her bedroom door. She lay awake listening to unfamiliar sounds drifting through the thin walls, soft humming, faint vibrations, a rhythm that didn't match any machine she knew. Her fear twisted into resentment. No one had asked her if she wanted an alien sister. No one had explained why this was happening. In the days that followed, Elia proved impossible to ignore. She didn't eat like Mara did. Her meals consisted of nutrient gels supplemented with carefully regulated light exposure. She slept only a few hours at a time, often sitting upright, eyes open but unfocused. Sometimes, Mara caught her standing motionless in the hallway, fingers brushing the walls as if reading something invisible. At school, the other kids noticed immediately. They stared, whispered. Some laughed. Others backed away. "She looks like a bug," one boy muttered. Mara wanted to pretend she didn't hear. Instead, she snapped, "Shut up," surprising herself. Elia never reacted. She simply observed. At home, Mara avoided her whenever possible, but avoidance became difficult in a small house. One evening, during a sudden power outage, Mara found Elia sitting alone in the dark living room, faintly glowing. "You don't need the lights," Mara said, unable to keep the edge from her voice. Elia looked up. "They help you," she replied. "I was waiting." "For what?" "For you to stop being afraid." Mara froze. "I'm not afraid." Elia studied her. "Your heart rate suggests otherwise." That was the first time Mara realized Elia wasn't just different. She was watching. As weeks passed, strange things began happening around Mara. Doors opened before she reached them. Devices malfunctioned when she grew upset, then corrected themselves. Once, when she tripped on the uneven ground outside their home, she didn't fall. Something unseen steadied her. Elia stood nearby, eyes glowing faintly. "Did you do that?" Mara demanded. Elia hesitated. "I am learning restraint." That night, Mara confronted her mother. "She's not just a kid," Mara said. "She's dangerous." Her mother's face hardened with a weariness Mara had never seen before. So are humans, she replied. We just pretend otherwise. She explained then about the others, about the failing colony, about the assistance humanity had received. The technology that kept the atmosphere stable, the systems that filtered radiation, the medical advances that saved thousands. They didn't give that freely, her mother said. They gave themselves. Elia wasn't adopted. She was exchanged. The others were not invaders. They were collaborators. Their species adapted by blending, by embedding themselves into other civilizations to guide them away from extinction. Elia was one of the first born into human environments. She's here to learn us, her mother said softly, and to teach us. Mara felt sick. So she's a spy. No, her mother said. She's family. That word echoed uncomfortably. The turning point came months later. The colony's atmospheric stabilizers began to fail. Alarms wailed across the settlement as pressure dropped and radiation levels spiked. Panic spread faster than information. Evacuation protocols initiated, but there weren't enough shelters. Mara was at school when it happened. The ceiling cracked. Systems flickered. Students screamed. And then everything stopped. Time didn't freeze. But it felt like it did. The air steadied. The alarms cut out. Elia stood at the center of the room, eyes blazing with light, those branching lines across her skin fully illuminated. She raised her hands, fingers splayed, and Mara felt something shift, like gravity rethinking itself. Later, they would say Elia burned out half the colony's power grid, stabilizing the atmosphere manually. That her body served as a living conduit for systems humans couldn't access directly. She collapsed afterward. Mara ran to her side, fear drowning out everything else. Elia, she whispered, gripping her strange, shimmering hand. Don't leave. Elia's eyes fluttered open. You stayed, she murmured. Of course I did, Mara said, voice breaking. You're my sister. Recovery took weeks. During that time, rumors spread. Some colonists demanded Elia be relocated, studied, controlled. Others called her a savior. Mara stopped caring what they said. She sat by Elia's bed every day, reading aloud, holding her hand, learning the quiet language of presence. When Elia finally recovered, she looked different. Dimmer. Smaller somehow. I can't do that again, she admitted one night. Mara nodded. That's okay. You're not afraid of me anymore. No, Mara said. I'm afraid for you. Elia smiled, a strange, beautiful expression she'd practiced carefully. That means the integration is working. Years passed. The colony stabilized. Humanity learned. Slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. Elia grew, not taller, not stronger, but more human in her own way. She laughed awkwardly. She argued. She developed preferences. Mara grew too. When the time came for Elia to return to the others, older now, her training complete, it was Mara who struggled to let go. You don't have to go, Mara said, standing at the edge of the settlement under a sky held together by borrowed miracles. Elia shook her head gently. I do, but I will carry you with me. They embraced, human warmth meeting alien light. You looked like an alien, Mara whispered, tears slipping free. But you were always family. Elia pressed her forehead to Mara's. Family is not appearance, she said. It is choice. As Elia walked away, merging into a future larger than either of them, Mara realized something profound. The others hadn't saved humanity by changing them. They'd saved them by trusting them. And that trust began with a child who looked like an alien, but belonged completely to home.